Welcome to the Workforce Connections podcast, where we discuss workforce development in Southern Nevada. Here's your host.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the WC podcast. Today, we have a very special guest, my fellow trustee at the Vegas Chamber. I want you to welcome Chris Wilcox, partner and Las Vegas market leader at Eide Bailly LLP. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you here. To get us started, we want to learn a little bit about yourself first. Share with us, our viewers, our listeners, where you were born, where you grew up, went to school, college, and maybe your first job. Take us through that journey.
Sure. I'm excited to talk about that. I grew up in southern Utah. If you've ever been to Zion National Park, I lived in one of the towns that you drove through that you didn't realize you were driving through.
Hurricane.
Nope,
Oh,
Virgin.
okay.
Virgin, Utah. When I left, Virgin had a population of 150 people.
Wow.
And so you are one of the few people in the world that has actually met someone from Virgin, Utah.
Wow.
There's not very many of us.
Mm-hmm.
But I did go to high school in Hurricane, Utah. And then I went to Dixie College for 1 year. I had to go down there to find my wife, found her, fell in love, went to Southern Utah University in Cedar City to finish my education. And interestingly, when I graduated, we were in a recession. That was a few years ago, back in 1984, actually 83. So we were in a recession, and nobody was hiring accountants, and it was a challenge. But one of my good friends at college, his dad was a partner here in an accounting firm in Las Vegas, and I was telling him about my plight, and he said, "Let me have my dad interview you." So I came to Vegas, interviewed with his dad. His dad told me that he didn't have any place for me, but what that interview did is it gave me a reason to call other firms in Las Vegas, and I got interviews with 3 other firms. Came down here with 4 appointments. I got 2 offers, and that's how I ended up in Las Vegas.
That's how you got here.
I came here in '84. And have never even ever been tempted to leave Las Vegas. I love Las Vegas. It's a great city.
That's great. And we're happy to have you here. Now, I heard that back when you were planning a career in law, maybe throughout those years, somebody gave you advice that you should major in accounting first because it would really prepare you for law school. Now, I want you to share that story a little bit and tell us how it all turned out. Was that good advice?
It was great advice. I'm still curious how you happened to find out that little bit of information. I was visiting with a former professor for economics from BYU. And in the conversation, he said, "What are you going to do?" And I said, I kind of have found out that I can learn, and I think I want to go to law school. And he said, "Well, don't get a political science degree." He says, "A great degree, but it's really, if you don't go to law school, it's a degree that isn't as useful as some other degrees might be." He said, "So go get an accounting degree. It's the most rigorous course of study and the closest aligned to law that you could get as an undergraduate degree." And I followed his advice. And I majored in I majored in accounting, thinking that I would go to law school. And I found out that I was pretty good at it. And I really enjoyed it. And I never went to law school. Got my undergraduate degree and went to work, and it's been the best decision I've ever made. I'm going to put a little spill in here for accounting degrees, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I find out that people are majoring in business or finance or economics or any of those related business degrees, and I tell them, I go, get an accounting degree. It's one of those degrees that has 360 degrees of opportunity. The FBI, the CIA, government, accounting firms, businesses, they're all trying to hire people with accounting degrees. There's so many different directions you can go with that accounting degree that I'm obviously a bit of a fan for accounting degrees and for accounting in and of itself.
Well, that was a great piece of advice, and now you share it with more, so that's really good. Now, tell me about Eide Bailly LLP. How did you get there? Tell us about the services that the company provides, because as you said, those of us who don't know think just about accounting services, but I think there's a broader menu than that at your company.
Much broader menu. So a little bit about how I got to Eide Bailly. About now almost 30 years ago, I formed a firm with two other partners, and eventually we just had different visions of how we wanted to pursue what we thought our career should be. So we split the firm up, and 2 years later, I merged my firm into Eide Bailly in 2015. And so that was what, 8, 9 years ago. Um, Part of the reason that I merged our firm in is we'd always focused on a client that was a bigger client. We were not a 1040 focused business. We did the 1040s for the business owners. So most of our clients were businesses, and over the 20 years, those clients had grown to be quite large, and they were worried about us being able to handle their business because we were such a small firm. Along came Eide Bailly, which solved that issue. We became part of Eide Bailly, which is, at the time, its footprint was west of the Mississippi. Just in the last year, we have migrated to the east side of the Mississippi. So it won't be long before we'll be a nationwide firm. Right now, we're from Ohio west. Eide Bailly is a full-service CPA firm, which means we do assurance, which is audits and reviewed financial statements. We handle income tax compliance, income tax planning. I happen to be on the income tax side, and I spend most of my time working with clients, a lot of time helping clients with merger and acquisition transactions, and then estate planning. That's a big issue. Our clients are bigger clients. Most of them own businesses, and so they need estate planning. But outside of the traditional work, we also have fractional accounting. You know, you own a small business, you don't want to have a full-time controller or bookkeeper, and we do fractional accounting. That has become a very large part of our Las Vegas practice. We have about, at one point in time, we had over 50 people in that division. It became such a success, the firm actually said, we think we need to take this national. So they took it away from me. So I don't get to monitor it the way we did, but that's a big part of us. We also have a group that helps people with forensic accounting. That comes up when maybe two partners aren't sure that one or the other is being fair, and they want to have someone in that will look under the rocks and the leaves and the limbs and see what really is going on. We do business valuations. We do cost segregation studies and R&D credit studies. We handle a lot of international tax work. It's pretty amazing. When I said a few minutes ago that accounting has 360 degrees of opportunity, even within a public accounting firm, it's amazing the services that we can either provide or that we can help you find because of all of the connections we have in the community. So I like being an accountant.
Yeah, and as we suspect that it is a much broader menu, so thank you for sharing that with us. And when somebody looks at your title, partner and market leader, what does that mean? What within that big menu of services, what's your unique role and responsibility in the company? Is it really about managing relationships, or is there something more specific?
All of the above. The role of office market leader is basically, it's a three-pronged role. Number one, it's my responsibility to promote the name Eide Bailly in the community. Frankly, I joined the Chamber of Commerce for that reason.
Sure.
One of the first things I did after we joined Eide Bailly was not a known name in Las Vegas. And I joined the chamber and worked very hard by becoming really involved in the chamber to get that name out. And today, some 9 years later, we are a known name. People know who Eide Bailly is. So that's part of my responsibility. Another part is to have relationships with our major clients and to make sure that we are serving their needs. And then the third leg of my responsibility is to make sure that we have a great culture within our office. We have incredibly talented people that other businesses, other CPA firms and other businesses would like to hire away from us. And really the only thing we have to offer that other people can't match is a culture that is a great culture. You know, we really work hard to provide a place where people enjoy coming to work. They're part of a team. They're given the tools they need to do their work, and that means it's meaningful to them. They look forward to coming to work because they're not just a number on a wall. They're going to get treated with respect and given opportunities to progress. If there's a mistake I make in my firm is I want you to grow quickly because I see your potential, and people love that. But sometimes they say, back off just a little bit, slow down. I need to get my feet under me, which is okay too.
No, in today's market, employee retention has become more and more important. As you said, providing a great culture is a way that many companies now are focusing on. And we had heard that about your company because we here at Workforce Connections also do the same. We have a ping pong table here. And so we heard that you had one also. And we wanted to ask you why. Is it because you're a player yourself, or is it just part of making the workplace a fun place to be?
You know, it was Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, and I was in one of the sporting goods stores, and a really nice ping pong table was on sale for a really low price.
Cool.
And I looked at that and I said, we have a library that is no longer used because books have all gone online.
Yep.
And we cleared the library out and put a ping pong table in there. And it's just a great way for people to go spend 10, 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. They play a few games. There's a lot of bragging rights that go around the office.
Yeah.
And it's just part of that culture, part of just being a good place to work where people know that we're not just you're not just a number.
Yeah.
You're an important part of our team.
That's great to hear that it's not just us. I've seen you now. You've been a Vegas Chamber trustee for longer than I have. And you mentioned, again, the reason why you joined. Can you give us a couple of examples, again, of how the Chamber membership has been beneficial to you? I'm sure Mary Beth Sewell would love to hear that.
Well, I will tell you, I will be honest and tell you, the reason I joined was I needed a venue to get my name out. We were an unknown in Las Vegas. And just going, we joined the President's Club, and I think I went to every President's Club activity there was. And as a result of that, I've just gotten to know a lot of people. And
so the networking would be the number one thing.
Networking was the number one thing for me at that time. I did not join the Chamber expecting to have a lot of clients, and the quickest way to have people avoid you at a networking event is start trying to hustle their work. So I've never asked anybody, hey, I'd like to have your work. I've never done that. But I've had some people approach me with some concerns and issues and ask if I might be able to help them out. And those have developed into some very mutually beneficial relationships for both of us. But the other side is I've learned what the Chamber offers. And it's, a commercial here for the Chamber. But if businesses aren't part of the Chamber and they're not participating and supporting what the Chamber is doing, they're just simply missing out. They are missing out. The Chamber looks out for the health of businesses. At the legislature time, we're trying to come up with programs that will help businesses to provide things like a 401k plan to
health benefits.
To their employees at a cost that they couldn't get otherwise.
Yep.
The Chamber is for business. They're all about business. And now, it's met. I've succeeded in getting the name Eide Bailly out. Now I'm all about promoting the benefits of the Chamber.
There you go, Mary Beth. That was a freebie from Chris. But you're absolutely right. Mary Beth and I really, believe in this partnership between Workforce Connection and the Chamber as well, because she was the first, and a demonstration of that is the fact that the Vegas Chamber was the first chamber of commerce in the nation to host an American Job Center. So she makes available to her members and the business community at large access to our no-cost resources, again, to help the business. So not only is the Chamber advocating for businesses in Carson City and DC, providing programs in tough times like COVID and, access to all these resources, but we have become also part of that network now that the membership and the businesses at large can access right there inside the Chamber. So I definitely agree with you, Chris. Now, besides the times that the networking that you do, because I see you at events at the Chamber, we have the mayoral debate coming up soon, the lunch with that's going to be spicy.
I will see you there.
Yeah, we'll see you there. Besides those, what other kind of community involvement does Eide Bailly or just yourself get you out there into the community?
So for me personally, the Chamber is really the only community organization that I'm involved in right now. When I joined the Chamber, I made a personal commitment that I would participate at the highest level I could. And I frankly resigned from a couple of other boards to make the capacity so that I could do that. Before that, I served on the Boys and Girls Club board of directors for probably, I don't know, 18 years, somewhere around there. I love the Boys and Girls Club. I coached my kids in basketball at the Boys and Girls Club, and I saw what was going on in there. And I went into their executive offices and I said, I don't know how to do it, but I want to become part of what's going on here. And not from me, but at the time, I delivered the largest donation the Boys and Girls Club had received. One of my clients knew I was on the board, and they called me up and they said, come over here. I need you to come to the office. I said, okay. And he handed me a check. The check was for $1 million, made payable to the Boys and Girls Club. And he said, I think you would enjoy delivering this.
Yes.
And I'm like, that was a pretty neat experience.
Yes.
Was
back then the time when Dulcinea was at the Boys and Girls Club?
It was right before Dulcinea.
Okay.
That happened.
Wow.
Yeah, it was right before her.
That's very cool.
The executive
Not many
director.
people can say that.
It was fun. It wasn't my money, but it was sure fun to be able to see the looks on their face when that money was delivered.
What an impact that makes for that organization. That
was pretty cool.
Thank you for sharing that story. So now we've talked a lot about Eide Bailly, your involvement in the Chamber. We'd like to hear a little bit more about the personal side of Chris. When you're not working, when you're not with the Chamber, how do you enjoy your time with your family, by yourself? What hobbies, activities do you like?
Well, my number one hobby is spending time with my wife.
Yeah.
Cut.
Okay. I can ask you that one again.
No, that's
no.
Good. I don't care. You want me to start over?
No, you can pick up right there where you left off.
We have been married for, I'm married in 82. So what, 42 years now?
Wow.
We have 5 children. 2 of them are partners in competing CPA firm. So Thanksgiving dinner is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, we refer a lot of work back and forth, and we really, frankly, we don't really compete. We share a lot of information, and I get calls from my sons saying, Dad, what would you do in this situation? And I'm more than happy to share a 40-year career experience with them.
No charge.
No charge. So, and then I have 2 sons. I have 3 daughters. 2 of them live here in Las Vegas. So they both have 4 children, which those 8, and then I've got 12 more. So I have a total of 20 grandchildren.
Wow.
And
wow.
My second most favorite thing to do is to spend time with those children and grandchildren.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I get a lot of fun out of that.
What's the youngest one? The small.
So the oldest grandchild is just turned 13.
Oh.
And the youngest grandchild just turned 1 about 2 days ago.
Tiny. Okay.
So
And everything in between.
and then they're all in between. So right now, I don't even know the number. I think I have 4 or 5 8-year-olds.
Wow.
8 turning 9, and when we get together, it's loud, but it's absolutely memorable.
That's what I heard.
And then the thing that I love to do, and my grandkids all love to do with me, is I like to off-road.
Oh, ATVs?
I have what's called a UTV. It's a side-by-side.
Yeah.
And I just recently took my 3 oldest grandchildren on a 500-mile trek up through the Rocky Mountains in Utah.
Wow.
We spent 3 days bouncing around.
Does it sit 2 or 4?
I have a 4-seater.
Yep.
Yeah,
Those are nice.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You get to go fast and get dirty and just have a lot of fun.
Aren't they called a Raptor or something like that?
It's a Razor.
Razor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what I have. Is a
They
Razor.
look like a lot of fun.
They're a blast.
That is cool.
That is. I told my grandkids, I go, of my 3 favorite things to do, I'm getting to do 2 of them right now.
Yeah.
With you guys and the Razor. So.
That's very cool, Chris. Well, earlier you told a story about you being a young man, and we always think, man, if I could only talk to that young man I was and give him some advice as you give your kids now. But there's young folks also today that might look at this podcast and they say, I would love to, have an accounting firm one day. I would love to be involved in the community as Chris, trustee of the largest chamber in the state. Looking back, what have you picked up in life? What good advice would you give somebody who's just starting their career that one day hopes to be successful like you?
Well, probably 3 pieces of advice. Number 1, don't be afraid of hard work. I know that everybody wants to have that easy path, and I would like to have the easy path, but the easy path it's not going to happen for most of us. I grew up in a family that, my dad didn't have an education. He worked for wages. We didn't have much. And, but what I did learn from my dad, we had a small farm. I learned how to work, and I learned how to work hard. And I never, ever, never worked by the hour. It was, there's a job that needs to be done, and I would get that job done. And so don't be afraid of hard work. Long hours pay off, especially in public accounting, they pay off. You get experience, you get paid for those hours. Public accounting is a lot like a medical degree. Those first 5-6 years, it's like residency for a doctor. We work a lot of hours, and that's one of the knocks against public accounting. But you know what? If you want to be a doctor, when you go do residency, you work a lot of hours, and so don't be afraid of that. It will pay off in the end. The second thing I would tell you is get involved in the community. In addition to the Boys and Girls Club, I was part of the Better Business Bureau. I was part of an organization called the Nevada Community Foundation. And all of those things helped me to develop what I call a presence in the community. I got to know people. And, my wife, when we go out to dinner, she's just like, oh man, how many people are we going to run into today? And that's okay. It's great. Those people don't all send me business, and I don't do work for them, but they're friends. And I have, those friends are, I just want to be a friend with you, Jamie, to use you as a resource. But you know what? I like helping people, and you like helping people. And if I call you up and say, hi, I need this help, you're going to be okay with that. I'm not doing it to benefit me, but there's somebody in the community that we would benefit. And the third thing that I would tell you is, during that period when you're working tons and tons of hours, I also coached my kids' baseball teams and their basketball teams. I never coached soccer or any of the other games because I don't know anything about those games, but I did coach baseball and basketball. But those seasons were always during the busy time for my business as well. And but I made time for my family. And figure it out. You can. both of my sons called me up one day. Well, I'm sorry, my oldest son called me up one day and he said, Dad, this dentistry idea I have is not working out. Biology and I just don't belong in the same room together. And I said, well, okay, what do you think? And he goes, I think I want to go into accounting. I said, son, you realize that, you know what my life is like during these first, during the first 4 months of the year? And he goes, yeah. He goes, Dad, who coached my baseball and basketball teams? And how many of my volleyball games did you miss when I was in high school? And the answer to that question was, I really didn't miss any of those volleyball games, and I coached them. I said to him, but Tyrell, you understand that I would go to work at 5 in the morning, 4:30, so that I could leave at 5 and have a full day in and to do all those things. He said, you figured it out. I will too. And he has. It can be a beautiful career.
Oh, that's wonderful advice. Thanks for sharing that, Chris. Are you planning on going to the DC fly-in?
Unfortunately, I'm not.
Okay.
I have gone to the fly-in 2 or 3 times. I've lost count, to tell you the truth. But this year it worked out that I wasn't able to go, but one of my partners will be there.
Good.
Oh.
Well, I was going to say see you there, but instead I'll see you at the mayoral debate lunch.
We'll see you at the mayor debate.
Thank you for coming in and doing the podcast today.
Thank you for the opportunity. I'm passionate about my career. I'm passionate about Las Vegas. And I'm passionate about my family.
Well, it shows.
Thank you.
It shows. Thank you, Chris. Well, that's it for another episode of the WC Podcast. We hope to see you at the next one. Until then, stay safe. Chris, thank you for staying over to do our bonus segment, Call Against the Wall. Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right. The first section is called Your Favorite. So let's start with an easy one. What's your favorite food?
Not being hungry. Probably Mexican and Italian.
Okay. Favorite wine for dinner?
You know what? I don't drink.
All right.
So that's an easy one.
How about your favorite car you've ever owned?
I had an Chevy Avalanche. It was my favorite truck at the time. I love that vehicle. I had it for 15 years. My wife made me sell it. She said, get rid of that old thing.
Very cool. Your favorite musical group or artist?
Probably the Eagles.
Favorite movie?
Gosh, I don't know that I have a favorite movie. Return of the Titans? Return of the Titans.
Yes. Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans. Thank you.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Favorite book?
Anything by John Grisham.
Okay, I like that. Favorite sports team?
Oh, easy. Go Knights, go.
Go Knights, go. Carrie Boobles is going to like that. All right, you made it through the first section. The second one is called Tough Choices. It gets a little more difficult. Are you ready?
Sure.
I'm going to give you 2 choices. Hopefully you can pick one. Vacation or staycation?
Oh, vacation all the way.
Would you rather drive to your vacation spot or fly there?
Depends on how far it is. If it's drivable, we would drive.
And if you get there, would you rather stay in a hotel or Airbnb?
Hotel 100%. My wife's idea of camping is a Hyatt.
Okay. And when you retire, would you rather retire on a ranch or in the big city?
Oh, ranch, 100%.
Now, if you had a choice, would you rather spend a day by the ocean or hiking in the mountains?
If my wife's with me, we're going to sit in the ocean.
All right.
If she's not, I would rather be hiking.
This one's a good one. If you could choose, would you rather have the ability to fly or breathe underwater?
Ooh, fly.
Me too. Now, another one, the ability to speak with animals or speak in any foreign language?
Any foreign language.
Actions or words?
No, that's a hard one.
It's a hard one.
Probably words.
Justice or grace?
Well, that's a really hard one. Probably grace.
All right. Well, you made it through the second segment. The third one is called Finish the Sentence. If Chris could visit any place in the world, it would be
India.
The best part about living in Southern Nevada is
the incredible opportunities here are unmatched anywhere else in the country.
Chris's favorite thing about his job is
the incredible people that I get to know, both as clients and the people I get to work with.
If Chris could travel back in time, he would travel to
I love my life. I'd probably just want to do it over again.
Okay. Rewind and start over. 3 words that describe you, Chris, are
energetic, passionate, and caring.
very nice. Doing the WC podcast here today with us was
A lot of fun.
all right, Chris. Thank you for staying over doing
Thank
the
you.
segment.
Thank you.